Howdy everyone, this is Mopbot, this is the Asgard SMP Season 2, and welcome back to episode number 9. We are standing here near the site of the future mega base. We have one chain link done that we did in the last episode. If you haven't seen it, go ahead back and check that out here. I am recording this on Halloween, so you take a peek at that zombie here. Oh yeah, look at that. He's got the jack-o'-lantern on his head. That is pretty cool. I guess it's just a carved pumpkin. There's no light in there for it to be a jack-o'-lantern, but yeah, that's pretty sweet. I love when that happens. Little things like that just make this game feel so fun. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, we have this big old rock here, and we've got some more to do. We ran out of gold building that chain in the last episode, and we ended up building a gold farm for it, but there are some changes that need to happen. So anyway, why don't we go ahead and jump on over there, because this little bit that I have done so far, well, that's just not going to cut it. So flying in here, we can see all of the zombified piglins dropping right out of the farm. That's pretty cool. Anyway, here's what we got. Okay. Anyway, let's come back up here and take a look at this. We got tons of gold blocks, and I have been feeding them into the bartering farm. Lots of that stuff just goes right in there, but I would love an automatic way to do that, so we want to pull the drops straight out of the farm instead of just putting them in the chest back there. We do have lots of pretty cool drops though, lots of good stuff. I'd also like to build an item sorter to bring all that stuff out. I guess it just kind of depends on how much room we have below the farm here. I have a feeling that we might run out because of how low it is, but for starters here, we do have an extra line. This sorter is for gold ingots, which can't actually drop unless the piglins are aggravated, which does not happen in this farm. So for starters, let's just get rid of that, and I guess I'll get rid of that somehow. But yep, first off, that needs to come out, and then we've got a slew of other changes that need to happen. So the first important thing to note here is that this bottom hopper now can suck out the ingots. You can see here in this first crafter, this is where all the nuggets are coming in to actually form the ingots. And if I go ahead and stick some blocks in there, you'll see that it does pop out, and then it goes straight into the hopper below that. But if we go ahead and lock that bottom hopper with a redstone torch and then try the exact same thing, of course I do need some more items, and go ahead and stick those in there. We'll again get that iron block, but this time it's going to go into the crafter at the right. So that'll give us a pretty good way to toggle whether we actually want to enable the bartering or not. So I've been AFK for just a little bit here, and I have a feeling I'm not going to love this first implementation. I was kind of eyeballing it in a free cam mode, and it seems like only the center two piglins are actually able to do some trading. So I tried to do some trickery with the minecarts up there, and yeah, we got this first one in the center with some good stuff. The one to the left, not quite as much. How about the ends? Nothing there. Yeah, nothing there. So I think this implementation is gonna have to go. That's kind of fine though, because it dips down pretty low, which didn't actually allow me to filter anything out, but we do have that toggle there. You can see that's lit up, but here's kind of like a rough overview of what's going on. You'll see that items kind of come through there, and then there's the minecart below. We do see at the top as well that the rotten flesh still gets filtered out there, but yeah, this is just kind of a big spaghetti mess that didn't really turn out how I wanted it to. And a quick aside here, I have come out to this desert, which meets up along a jungle and a mesa. It is absolutely beautiful. I love the way this looks, but I have brought a shulker box with me because we need so much sand for what's about to happen here. I have some ideas of how I want to modify the redstone, but in the meantime, let's continue on with the building because I got something that's going to be pretty cool, I think. So in using shulker boxes to collect some sand, it has come to my attention that I should probably be upgrading how I manage my storage here. I've got this shulker box full of firework rockets and this one full of extra food, and I would love to constantly have those on me just in case I run out when I'm out exploring or something. So first off, we have this one that is already gray. That's awesome. I can use not in that chest, but a brown dye down here to make that one brown. Now it represents food, and that's pretty cool. And the shift click in order to dye these is accomplishable through the Shulker Plus mod, which is pretty sweet, but we can actually do a little bit more with that if we go ahead and grab these two things here and come on over to, I think it's an anvil, and why don't I go ahead and stick that in there, and then if I throw a rocket on top, yeah, now it renders on top of that, and that's pretty sweet. And I actually get my rocket back, which is pretty cool. I didn't think I got that back. That's sweet. And then same thing over here, we'll do that with the fish. So now if we go ahead and place these down, not only does it show in my inventory, but if I put those down there, we have a rocket and a fish. And that is pretty cool, but I don't want to have just tons of shulker boxes on me at all times. So I believe I do have an ender chest right here, which is awesome. If I go ahead and stick those in there. Now I can carry these on me wherever I go, just so long as I keep this ender chest with me. So again, that is the Shulker Plus mod. It is super cool and definitely something that I'm going to be doing a little bit more with, I think, in the future, because having these is pretty sweet. Ah, ahoy! Okay, so I changed my mind. I had some free time and I ended up deciding to make some changes here. This is so much cooler. We're sitting AFK up there right now, so all the piglin are falling through here. We are still sorting out all the flesh at the top. You can see that getting spat into the lava, which is pretty cool, but now we have a different way of filtering out the rest of the items. We actually have 4 item sorters for the gold nuggets, which means that we have like separate kind of silos going on here so that they can run asynchronously and they can go side by side like that, which is pretty cool because then we don't need to do any weird minecart tricks or anything like that. These are slightly larger modules the way I've designed this here. However, it doesn't run quite as deep, so it allows us to do some other cool stuff with item sorting. But if we take a look at what's going on here, the rotted flesh is getting filtered out. All the nuggets are coming on down here, getting put into this first crafter. And when that crafter is full, it has a signal strength of 9, so we just run out 9 redstone dust, and we wait for it to power. So like you can see this one line here, that reached there, it powered, and then it spat an ingot rather down into this next line, which sometimes, and there's 2 cases here, it either goes down into this bottom crafter, which does the same thing. It waits for 9 nuggets, and then it filters into a block, which goes into this bottom stream and heads off here. However, we have bartering enabled right now. You can see that working right here. So 3 of them have ingots at the moment. This one on the right doesn't quite have anything, just because that means that the piglin are not falling on that side and delivering him ingots. I'm totally okay with that. That's not really the end of the world. Right now that is enabled, so this block crafting is not happening, and in this case we have the ingots simply coming through here, getting filtered out, and put right back into the old system that we had, where this clock over here just keeps flipping back and forth and spitting the ingots out. Yep, see, now it's got one on the right, but now the one on the left doesn't have one. I think this is much better. It is just completely dependent on where the piglins are landing, which is, I mean, mostly evenly spread out, so I'm not complaining about that at all. I'm super happy with this, and we do have a way of disabling that pretty easily here. We have this lever down at the bottom, and when we flip that, it's going to lock these bottom hoppers here so that the ingots can go into these crafters and give us some blocks. So I have tested this all. It is working. If I go ahead and jump down here, we can actually see it in real time. So I had a handful of gold blocks before, and I did test it to make sure that's working, so it now fills right to left and then bottom to top. So I sat there for maybe a minute at most and accrued an extra 5 blocks of gold. I made sure to leave like an even stack so I could count that nice and easy. So that's all there. And then what's going on over here? Well, right now that bartering is going, and since we have so much extra room now below where that bartering is happening, we can sort each one of these items. So for instance, we have crying obsidian in the first one. We don't have quite enough of that to complete the item sorter just yet. Same thing for obsidian next to it, but some things we do have plenty of, like the blackstone here, so that's filtering through. We've got the soul sand, the gravel, and so forth. So pretty awesome. And then just at the end, we have an extra 2 silos of just non-stackable items, so we can get the iron boots, we can get some fire resistance potions, both the splash and the regular, we can get water bottles, and we can get enchanted books with soul speed on them. So I'm just going to let those all go off toward the end. Probably don't need a ton of those. The fire resistance potions might be kind of cool though. So anyway, yeah, this is running pretty good, and these piglins now are holding just gold blocks. Apparently if you throw a gold block near them, they'll drop whatever they're holding. So before we had like some holding crying obsidian, some were holding the spectral arrows, and now they are not trading up for those because they all are holding blocks that they would rather have, the gold blocks there, which is pretty cool, I think. So this is also all non-spawnable. If I go ahead and hit H, you don't see anywhere where mobs can spawn, so that's pretty cool. We're not losing any efficiency there. I can say I am so much more happy with how this is going, and if I flip this lever right here, that's when we'll start to see some extra blocks coming in. So I think one just fired there. You might have just been able to see it. So I think I should have now a 6th one right there. Beautiful. So that is working. I'm able to go back and forth like that. pretty awesome. But anyway, we have a shulker box over here. We got all of that sand earlier. We turned it into glass and then we stained it all. And by the way, getting all of that orange dye, kind of a pain. Turns out yellow flowers aren't quite as easy to gather as I thought, but luckily I was able to find a huge patch of them after flying around for a little bit here. But I have something pretty cool in mind for these. These three colors are going to fit in with this farm super well. So for starters, before decorating up anything more here, I want to add this in, and this might take me a while because I have kind of a cool shape in mind. I am again being very indecisive here. First off, I did add a couple extra chests because I filled that up very fast. I AFK'd for like 3 hours and filled up those 3 plus these 2 and then into this one, feathers somehow, okay. So I did double that, but we got so many resources. I've already been crafting up some of these blackstone items in order to look at to build this ring. But yeah, we've got so much. We're gonna keep using this thing. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, I'm very indecisive about how to exactly set this up. So this is the path that goes back toward the main portal here. And if we come onto the outside, this is what it looks like. So we have a big gold circle around it right now. And if we go into free cam to come on up here, we can see that. Looks pretty too far. Looks pretty good, and we've got this cool texture going on here where we're mixing up the different blackstone blocks here. We've got the polished, the regular, and the bricks here. So, you know, I love how that looks, but the height is throwing me for a loop. We need stairs somehow to get up there. We can't just keep breaking these, and they do have to be bottom half slabs and not top half slabs. Otherwise, they're going to be spawnable blocks, and that's going to interfere with the farm. And they can't be down one more. I mean, they could be, I guess, but I like the look of how this is right now, unless maybe I add another one across, and then we don't need the gold loop. But I kind of like that. It makes it stand out. So I don't know. We'll figure something out. We're going to keep playing with it a little bit. We have some of the glass in already. Looking pretty cool against the orange background. I'd like to see that kind of lit up somehow. So we'd also like to work in something along those lines. But yeah, we've got some playing to do. And also looking at this, I think it'd be kind of cool if we swapped out the iron blocks for some gold blocks. Oh boy, look at those guys falling. That's pretty cool. But this is neat. I am glad that I took that extra bit to deliberate and had that extra clip in there because it gave me a minute to really think about this, and I jumped into a test world and actually tried moving it down a block, and it was totally the move. So we ended up coming through here, spent the extra time of dropping it down, and then we built up these flames around it, blended the remaining gold into it, and then just kind of left a couple dots of it around. And I did have to put some pressure plates on there so that mobs cannot spawn on top of those. That was a nice little bit of parkour rather. Pretty cool. Yeah, I am very, very happy with this. We also came through the center. We replaced all the iron blocks that were super bright and white and ugly with some new gold blocks now that we have a ton of them. That's pretty cool. That's only there because I threw it there. That didn't actually drop out of the farm there. But yeah, I'm like super happy with this now, and I would say that this is pretty much done. I'm going to come through here and make a couple minor changes. We do need like a staircase up to this, and probably a better way to turn that on and off instead of right now you'd actually just have to use a rocket and get on top of there, or an ender pearl or something. So I'm definitely going to change that. Maybe I'll even just bring it down a little bit so it's down here. Then I don't have to build like a staircase or anything. I'll have to see about that. But anyway, that's not important. Over here, I'm also going to add some item frames so that we can tell what's sorted into what. Again, not super important. Not really worried about it. But yeah, take a look at this farm. This is cool. It looks especially cool when we're in the Nether Waste, because as we come over here to the Basalt Delta, the background changes and then this looks kind of faded out. But then as it turns super red, that is awesome, man. And you saw it earlier too. We were in, I don't even know what this one is. I think this is the Soul Sand Valley that has the blue like that. But yeah, kind of contrasts too hard. But as soon as we get into that orange background, very nice. Love those warm colors around the back of that. I thought about going like super crazy with it and building them up like super high and like adding some like dots off of it and like some smoke and all that. I think that's kind of overkill. Maybe we'll do that in the future. Probably not making them any higher, but maybe just adding like some blips and some smoke and whatnot. But as for now, I am very happy with this. We can go ahead and move on now. Like I said, I'm going to do these other things off camera, just kind of between clips whenever I get to them, because they are not super important. But for now, this is pretty cool. And I am just so happy with how this has finally turned out. And we are back over here at the future site of the Mega Base. Of course, I guess we kind of already have a pretty good start to that, so maybe it's safe to call it that already. But this thing is no longer about to float away. Oh, we've got these chains all strapped down now. Look how cool this is. I definitely do need to do something about the color. I don't want that bright green, so we definitely need to get a bunch of wax and keep it probably the center color. I like that the most. That one and probably the other stage where it's like mostly green with a little bit of brown. I think those two are my favorites, so we'll kind of like get like a hybrid of those two throughout there, and not quite that one. So definitely also not this bright orange one. Definitely something in the middle I think looks the most natural. But look at all that gold. So much gold has gone into this. It is pretty cool though. Let's go into free cam here. Hopefully nothing attacks me, and just take a look back, because yeah, just that looks so cool. I think some of these might be a little bit long, but it's really not the end of the world. We might do something to make it dark down there so you can't totally see it. It kind of just looks like it's held by something, and then that something, oh, we did get hurt. That something just ends up going off into nothingness. I don't know yet. We'll play with it a little bit, but for now, I'm super happy with it. I definitely want to just make sure that these are colors that we like, and that we can start to do something on top here and actually bring life to this thing, because right now it is just a big, empty, flat rock. And we got to do something with that. So in next episode, probably we'll start to do something up here. But anyway, for now, hopefully y'all have enjoyed. Go ahead and subscribe for more, and I'll see y'all next time.